Well, it's football time in not just college football, but the Tennessee and Florida game. We want to make a special episode just for this game because of the disappointing and weird outcome that we've seen happen down there in the swamp. And before we get into it, as always, I'm joined with my co-hosts Jaden and Cody.
Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, oh boy. What in the world happened in that game? I mean, I'm going to give you a little recap of how I felt in this game, all right? Quarter one,
So you're telling me there's a chance?
quarter two,
Oh no! We suck again!
and that was it. That was pretty much it. After that, it just kept on getting worse and worse and worse.
Like the
I
disappointment
will say,
is unreal.
that opening drive was probably, you'd think that it would be the pace setter for the game, but it was furthest from that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
It
me and Cody
was
both picked Tennessee to win slightly in this game, and we were so wrong.
yeah.
It wasn't even funny. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I've read this all day long, and it just irks me. Well, Tennessee always complains about the refs every time. Here it is. They're complaining about the refs again. They're complaining about the refs again. When it was so obvious that the announcers were saying what is going on, you have an issue.
Yeah.
It's not just Tennessee complaining about the refs being unfair. It was blatantly bad officiating. Blatantly. They call stuff on us that they won't call in Florida that whole entire game. I remember there was a holding call because one of our linemen pounced on one of their, defensive line. And that had happened the whole entire first half to our guys. Florida was doing the same thing. Not a single holding call was thrown on them. Tennessee does it one time, they throw a flag. Pass interference calls that were right in front of the officiating crew, and they just look away, just like it's. I mean, he's
Um,
tugging on his jersey.
I think the most notable call was probably either third quarter or fourth quarter, whenever I think we were in a drive and I think we were in the red zone, and all of a sudden I think Florida just does something. I don't remember exactly the specifics, but Florida does something, stops the play, and then substitutes right in the middle.
Oh no!
Doesn't
So
give Tennessee any
no,
substitute.
what
no, what
happened
happened?
was
Yeah, go ahead.
I watched it. They finally reviewed it, right? Because the officials won't stop something unless this like the drive or the possession real quick unless it's warranted. They were resetting the ball, right? They were resetting the ball after the official kicked it, and they got 2 free subs in. So
Yeah,
the official ran through the line, kicked the ball. The guy waved it off to like, no, stop the play, stop everything. I'm resetting the ball. They got 2 free subs, and Tennessee didn't get to do anything. Just ruined the entire tempo of the drive.
which the announcer said, and I have to agree. When's the last time you ever seen a officiating crew kick the football where they had to reset the ball themselves? That doesn't happen.
And they get
I
2
would
free
say,
subs out of it.
yeah, I would say that was deliberate. He kicked that ball on purpose because Tennessee was going to try to do a fourth and short conversion. That's what it was. It was fourth down. They were trying to do a really quick snap to do a conversion. They kicked the ball to slow down Tennessee. Florida gets 2 free subs in with fresh guys because they knew what was going to happen at this point. They stopped the drive from going on. I mean, this was constantly throughout the whole second half of the game. The refs were constantly slowing down the pace on Tennessee's side. It is so blatantly obvious
Not
that
to mention that weird illegal blindside block call. What? I don't understand that. How can you? I don't get it. I don't understand how. Buddy just turned his head and got blocked, and it was a legal blindside. Like, how does that make any sense?
It wasn't even on the side of his body. It was
the
in
calls
front
were
of him.
bad.
He was
Like,
in
it
front
was
of them.
literally blocked in front of him. How is that a legal blindside? But whatever. We're not just complaining about the refs because we think that's what generally sold the game. No, but it was a factor.
No, it was a
It hurt
huge
us.
factor. And this is
But
this just stems from last week's bad officiating crew. I mean, when you have a fumble that they said, well, they can't review it because they ran out of time to review the play. Now that's stupid. No
that
one's
doesn't
ever.
even make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I've seen them take 20 minutes reviewing a play before. You can't review a obvious fumble. I mean, it's on the big screen in the stadium. You can't just look up and say, "Oh, well, yeah, you're right. That was a fumble." I mean, this is 2 weeks in a row we've seen bad officiating, and nothing has been done about it by the NCAA. And there needs to be something done quick because this is getting out of hand. I get it. Everybody hates Tennessee. I don't understand why. We haven't been a thing in so long now. The only thing we got going for us is our fight song that everybody loves to hate, but we haven't been a thing in so long. I don't get why you got to pile on to us because we've had one decent season, and then you come the next season, all you see is bad officiating from these NCAA, refs that seem pretty blatantly to call it one-sided. I mean, you shouldn't be an NCAA ref if you can't take your personal feelings and put them aside to officiate a game fairly.
We wouldn't be so sour about it if it weren't 10 penalties for 79 yards. And at one point, there were back-to-back penalties, which I think equal to about 30 yards.
Yeah.
So we were about I think it was third down and 30 yards. I mean, who is going to be able to go against that? What else is there to do?
I mean,
Not to mention
I believe we
terrible
run 'em.
play calling we ran.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
we ran 'em
terrible
on that.
performance that Milton displayed, and pretty much whoever else, the whole defense just didn't decide to play. They just said, yeah.
We were playing, and we kept on putting in the chat, zone. It's all we played, zone the whole entire time. No man-to-man defense whatsoever, and we were getting burnt up because we was playing zone, and they could pick us apart every single time. What they did between last week and this week on the defense side shocks me. Because we had a pretty solid defense. How did we get worse in this aspect? I don't understand it. Our defense was top notch, and we come out playing like a bunch of high schoolers, like we've never played a down in our life or something. It was crazy. I mean, is he pulling the water boy thing on the sideline, saying, reading the Football for Dummies book or something? Because I mean, it was horrible. I mean, how are you going to play zone the whole entire time and say, well, it hasn't worked for us this past 25 times. Let's try it again. Maybe it worked for us this time. Obviously, it's not the case.
And that's just the defense. Like, Lord forbid we even get into the offense.
Oh, it's coming.
We just continuously
it's coming.
We just run screens and runs, and that's about it.
I mean, you can't even do that. And
yeah.
And Milton can't.
And let's talk about
be
that.
Accurate.
Let's talk about everybody's love of this Milton, okay? I've been saying it from the get-go. This kid doesn't have it. Yeah, he can throw 80, 90 yards, no problem, but when the game's on the line, he will choke. He didn't have it in Michigan. He doesn't have it here. The kid doesn't have it. Every single time we need him to show up, he fails. Yeah, he had an amazing drive, that first drive out of the gate. Awesome. We score. I'm thinking, all right, here we go. They fixed his issues in this last week's training. And then we blow timeouts for no reason. He's sloppy, slow, acts like he's not even wanting to play the game. He's not even showing up and getting the play. He calls audibles when he gets nervous and scared instead of stuff that should be played. I mean, they're going to show blitz because they know you're scared, and you probably had a pretty decent call to stick with, and you're going to audible it because you're scared of the guys coming at you. It's a part of being a quarterback. Deal with it.
And then you don't attempt any more passes from the point that you get sacked the one time. Or no, the point here, let's talk about this part. What was that interception?
Oh, that
What
was
was that?
horrible.
What was he gets pretty much sacked, throws the ball at the same time, just pretty much Hail Mary it to anybody in the field. We're playing lottery out here in the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on? What are we doing? You won't throw the ball on the sideline. No. We throw it straight in the middle of the field for anybody to catch it.
Throw it at the guy's feet? Nope. Throw it at the
Or
sideline?
just
Nope.
take the sack.
Or take the sack. I mean, that's
Just
the
take
worst
the
case
sack.
scenario in those options. But no, he does the worst thing you could ever do is just to throw it up in the middle of the field. Not even down the field, but just in the middle of the field where there's multiple defenders saying, "Oh, free punt right here, right at me." Where's his mind at? I mean, in the second half he comes out and we're thinking, well, hopefully they talked in the locker room, got him calmed down or something. No, in the third quarter, the
Fumble.
first fumble, we had 11 seconds left on the clock. He calls a timeout for no reason whatsoever. We have a delay of game because he's just not got his head in the game. He don't know what he's doing. He's out there like he's in La La Land or something. Can't get anybody ready to go. Of course, the offense is not going to play right when your leader on the field can't even get set himself. He's so scared of the other side. He doesn't get his head in the game, and that shows every single time. That's why you can't count on that boy.
And what pisses me off the most is that he can take command of that offense. Like, Joe Milton is smart in the game of football. That is known. He just does not make good decisions. Why? I couldn't tell you. I don't know why he just can't stick to his knowledge about the game. He knows the game. He really and truly does. But the decisions he makes, Cody brought it up. The sack, he's getting ready to get sacked, he just throws it up. What? How is that smart? Like the decision making, I don't understand that. I don't get that. How can
And-
you take command of your offense so perfectly and prove that you can take command of the offense and be intelligent in the game of football, and then that happens and you're like, "Oh, throw it up, Hail Mary. There you go. Free pickings."
But we've never
For me,
seen
you
him.
shouldn't have. Really?
But we've never seen him take command of the team when it mattered the most.
No.
That's the problem, and that's the problem. With Hooker, when you needed something out of Hooker, he delivered. It didn't matter what
Not
kind
only
of
that, our
circumstances.
receivers,
Yeah.
just could get open.
And he's got good talent on his offensive team. He's got Brew McCoy, Squirrel White, phenomenal players, Jabari Smalls, Jalen Wright,
Ramel
good
Keaton.
Ramel Keaton. He's got good talent on his offensive coordination, but it's like he fails to exceed expectations.
Not to mention Dylan Sampson and Slaughter didn't even play that game. Danico Slaughter. Well, where were they at? I don't know why Slaughter wasn't playing in the backfield or as a defensive back, and why didn't Dylan Sampson run the ball once? Where was that at? Why? Why didn't they play?
I mean,
Poor Dylan.
we had Mays. He was hurt, still not be able to return
Yeah,
back.
Cooper Mays can't stay healthy.
So I mean, he's not been healthy the whole entire time he's been at Tennessee. I mean, he's had knee problems, and I mean, as a lineman, you're going to have knee problems. I get it. I mean, he's just not been healthy, so he's missing our center. So that causes issues, but I mean, we have some talent there. But if your leader on the field cannot perform under pressure, and that's what it is, he just melts under
He
pressure.
can't even distribute the ball correctly.
No, I mean just
So then
bad.
we're forced to run it, and Florida's like, "Oh well, they're running it."
yeah, and that's
Third
why
and
we
20,
ran
runs
so
the ball.
much.
What?
Yeah, it was.
I'm almost about to think they need to fire the OC because 3rd and 20, run the ball. Oh, we're gonna get them, guys. I have a great idea, great game plan. Ready? They'll never see this coming.
Yeah.
3rd and 20, even though we have to pass it, so they're gonna be covering the pass, right? Run the ball, and then we get what, 2 yards?
I
Probably
mean,
not
well,
even that.
let's look what he's working with. He can't trust Milton to actually complete that. I mean, you can't trust him. He's not Hooker.
I
You
don't
couldn't
know
put
why.
Hooker in that position. Hooker's going to figure out a way to get those 20 yards, whether it's on the ground with his own feet or if it's in the air. Hooker would have found those 20 yards. Milton folds under pressure. You can't trust him to get those 20 yards. The kid just can't do it.
And why they refuse to play Nico, I couldn't tell you why.
And we talked about this last, when we were doing our picks. If Milton's not performing, put Nico in. What's the worst that could happen? We still lose the game? Well, at least we can figure out where we're going to stand with the quarterback next year instead of now guessing. I hope that Nico's getting some good, knowledge in there. But, I mean, Milton obviously can't learn nothing because he was under Hooker the whole entire time and didn't learn a dang thing. Yeah, he can throw
They
a
were roommates.
90-yard pass. Whoopity-doo when he can't perform under pressure. It don't matter if he can't perform.
Just gotta execute, guys. Just gotta execute.
Yeah. Execute.
Yeah, execute. that's the big thing. He's not executing. He can't execute. He's proven that time and time again. And why these people are so tied on to this guy blows my mind.
I just hope it's not
He's-
setting a season, what it's going to be like for the season.
I'm almost guaranteed they won't play Nico for the entire season. I'm almost willing to bet it.
I don't understand it.
Until
I just
Joe
don't.
Mitten throws like 4 interceptions straight in the game, I do not think they will play Nico.
It just blows my mind. We have other options in that QB spot. Try somebody else out. If you don't want to put Nico in because he's young, he's a freshman, you're afraid of getting hurt, we have another quarterback. Put him in. Like I said, the worst thing that could have happened is still losing the game that we were already having troubles with anyways. I mean, you see other teams. I mean, Alabama's having to do it right now where they're having to figure out the QB spot. Let's do it right now. We still got a lot of huge games coming up, and I don't want to put Alabama in the hands of Milton. I don't want to put Georgia in the hands of Milton. I don't want to put Texas A&M in the hands of Milton. I don't want to put Kentucky in the hands
Put South Carolina.
No, I don't want none of that games in the hands of Milton because he can't perform. He fails every single time. Let's figure out the QB spot now before it gets any further out of hand. I mean, we still got a whole season ahead of us, and as we're seeing it now, we don't have a team that it's not even a shadow of what we had last year. That's what's crazy.
It is a shadow of what we had about 2 years ago, though.
Yeah. I mean, blows my mind. And I can't say, I mean, you're looking at it and say, well, yeah, the OC coach, he's having some pretty weird play calls, but what do you do? What do you do when you can't trust your quarterback to perform like he's supposed to? I mean,
When you have to run screens to warm the quarterback up, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching some stuff the other day just about, the Tennessee and Florida game. Apparently, Hendon Hooker was a player, and meaning that he played good during the games, but his practices apparently wasn't all that great. Like, he was not a person that shows up in practice. Like, I'm not going to say that. I'm sure that they done fine and great in practice. But for the most part, he performed on the field more than he performed in practice. Joe Milton performs more in practice than he does on the field. There's a problem there. If you're great in practice, but you can't correlate that and translate that to the game on game day on the field, then what's the point?
Well, I mean,
what are we doing here? Why are you the quarterback then?
Look at the practice. You're not going to get hit in practice. You got your red jersey on. You're not going to get hit. So of course you're going to perform great. You have nothing to worry about. He goes out in the game, he knows he's going to get hit, and he's scared to death. He's scared to take a hit. I mean, you would hope your lineman will do the job, but sometimes it just doesn't go that way. You need to know the guy's big also. Take the hit, you know, or hit them back or something, you know. I mean, come on, do something. But he's so terrified that he just can't perform. I mean, it's just
And,
disgusting.
he's got plenty of time in the pocket too.
Oh yeah,
He's always got plenty of time. He's got plenty of time to make a decision. He's got plenty of people that are probably open on in a given time on the field. It's just he's not quick on his feet, especially in high pressure. He doesn't perform as far as passing goes. He can. We've seen that in the first drive. He can, but when it comes to any other play, he's just a shadow of his former self.
Not like that's much to speak of anyway.
no. I mean, last week I had arguments with people like, well, whether it was the receiver's fault, whether they should catch the ball or not. And I think Brew McCoy came out and said what it was like to actually catch a football by him. It's like, breaking your fingers every time you try to catch a ball. But, I had arguments about whether it was the receiver's fault, they should have caught it or not. I don't think there's an argument whose fault it is this week. And if you think it's not Milton's fault, you're still delusional.
There wasn't that many dropped. I could be remembering wrong, but I don't think there was that many dropped passes this week for receivers. It was just awful accuracy and I don't even know,
Bad.
awful
I
throwing
think-
it in coverage and
At one point, Brew McCoy had to grab behind him to get the ball.
yeah, he had to reach for it and
I mean, there was bad clock management by Milton. Can't figure out when to do
for your
anything.
quarterback. As a quarterback, I get it. You're the general, you're the leader. But it's not always up for you to make plays. Just throw the ball to a wide, give it to your running back, and when that happened, you give it to your running. But we gave it to a running back all game pretty much. But you throw the ball. That's all you got to worry about. Throw the ball and get it there, and let the receiver then make the play. Don't always worry about, oh man, I gotta run for 15 yards in a scramble and try to get out of the pocket, or I gotta show my arm strength. Like, no, dude, just throw the ball, distribute it to the receivers correctly and accurately, and let them make a play on the ball. I feel like Joe Milton is stuck in this. I don't know what he's doing. I really don't. I don't know if he feels like he has to generate a play himself, or he doesn't trust his guys to make a play. Like, I would much rather you throw it on one coverage and let one of our receivers go up for a 50-50 ball than do whatever you just did today. Or not today, Saturday. Like, what are you doing? I will never discredit a 50-50 ball. No, I would rather it be wide open and you lead the ball and you sail it over the defender's head right in front of the receiver where you can cradle catch it and go into the end zone. That would be beautiful. All from what we've seen from Hendon Hooker and Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah.
What we saw, that would be beautiful. But if you even can't do that, I would be fine with you throwing it on one-on-one coverage. But don't throw it in double coverage. If you have a trusted receiver to make a play on the ball on one-on-one coverage and he can pretty much Randy Moss them, that makes the receiver look even better and it makes you look good for throwing the ball, at least getting it there.
Yep.
But no, you can't even do that. So,
No.
I mean, he's lost cause.
He really is. And I mean, and I know what's going to happen. They're going to put him back in this next game coming up. And I mean, at this point, I don't even know if we can say that it's a certain that we're going to win, but let's say he does good. And they're like, oh, see, he just had a bad game against Florida. And then we're going to bring him in with the next game, and he's going to suck it up again.
Was that during the Austin P game, too? Was that just a bad game against Austin P?
I know,
What about
right?
Virginia? Is that a bad game again? Oh, we ran the ball all day on Virginia. I mean, come on, that's stupid.
I mean, look at last year's games, and we were like fast-paced tempo. We were constantly on the moving down the field. I mean, it's like we're not even playing the same game as we was playing last year. It's a totally different game.
Team either.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the same Tennessee as last year. It's slow. It's sloppy. It's scared. It's not the same football as we had played last year, the great football that we were playing. And I have to credit it to the only thing that changed, and it's Milton. Milton's the only piece that changed in that equation. Same coach. We have some of the same talent on the team. The only thing that's not there is Hooker. So what's changed? Oh, that's right. We got Milton now, who can't do fast-paced, hurry up, smart decision, or smart deciding on where to go, how to manage the clock, keep your eyes down the field, scan for targets. He can't do any of that. He's a one-trick pony, and that one trick is the bomb. That's it.
Sad.
So, yeah. And I know some of these people are going to look at this game like, man, it was just a dirty game. Yeah, it was dirty. And I blame that on the refs. The refs let it get to as dirty as it was. That last thing that happened with the whole fight on the field, because the refs allowed it to get to that point. They didn't call like they should have called on some of the things against Florida and did against Tennessee. You're going to get pissed off at that point. You're going to get so mad where you're like, well, it's me versus the whole world at that point. I get it. So when Florida's disrespectfully running around in that last few seconds and one of our linemen smacks that quarterback when he decides to take a late knee, that's going to happen. Because the refs have allowed this to go on. And then there was a fight, End up being, I think, 3 Florida guys got suspended. One of our guys got suspended for the whole thing. But where was the coach for Florida who threw one of our players down on the ground? Where was he being suspended for or fined? You don't see that. Why aren't the officiating crew fined or suspended for their blatantly crappy calls?
I've said it once, and I'll say it again. You can't beat Florida, ourselves, and the refs at the same time. It's impossible. The odds were stacked against us when we walked in there.
Yeah.
I knew we wasn't going to win that game. I'm still upset about it.
I didn't think it would go. I mean, I would have been okay if it was a fair, clean called game. Florida was just a better player, and they squeaked by with a tough game because we played smart. They played good. I would have been sad, yes, but I wouldn't be so just disgusted by what I saw.
No.
That's where I'm at, is just how that whole thing panned out. It was just disgusting. There's things that need to change. NCAA needs to get their act straight on this whole matter. They need to figure out what they're doing, look at their own officiating crew, find them when they're not doing their jobs properly. Because it's not just Tennessee game. We've seen this in other games too, in different teams. We've seen this multiple times, especially with the targeting calls. No one knows what a targeting call is anymore because in one game it's one thing, in another game it's another thing. You can't figure it out. It's all in the discretion of whatever that referee's feeling like this game. I mean, they need to get their act together and start, locking in on these refs and making sure they're doing the job that they're getting paid to do. There's a lot of things that was just downright despicable in that game, and it's just should not happen again. I mean, and I've read it all day long. Well, Tennessee's just crying because they lost. No, what I'm mad about is the way how things were handled by the refereeing crew.
We've complained every game this season. It's not just you, Florida. You're not special. Shut up.
Yeah.
Think I care we lost to you? No, we beat you last year. Shut up. Where was that at?
Yeah.
You want to talk smack now because you beat us, but last year you cried too, so I don't want to hear it. We're the same side of we're the two sides of the same coin. It's literally the two sides of the same coin. We complain that we lose to you, and you complain that you lose to us. It's the same thing. And it's F Tennessee chant at the end of the game.
Yep.
Why? Because you sucked last year? Why? Because we made amazing strides last year? And you know that we're just a pale ghost of ourselves from last year? So you beat on us like a defenseless child in a corner? And then you think it's cool. You think you're the best football team that's walked the face of the earth.
Well, you already hear him calling that Florida's going to take, the
Well, yeah,
whole thing. That's unbelievable. I mean,
they're
because
not
they
winning
won
the
one
East.
game.
I don't know who said that. I don't know who said they're winning the East and they're not winning the conference.
I mean,
I don't
that's
know who said that.
crazy talk. I mean, straight crazy. I mean, they think Tim Tebow's out there or something. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, I know other teams are struggling, but I guarantee if they have to face Georgia and Alabama, they're going to get smacked, and they're going to get smacked hard. I
And I
mean,
know
good
what it
wake-up
is.
call.
All their fans are just happy that they've made incredible improvements in the last 2 weeks. I get it. You played Utah and played some piss poor ball. Utah beat you. You're upset about it. You go in next week beating McNeese. Okay, good win. And you come and then you beat us on a ranked team, a ranked opponent, a rivalry game, conference game. I get it. You're fired up and you're excited because you have made improvements. That's fine. That's cool. But then you don't need to act like you're, you know,
the best team out there.
the best team to ever walk the face of the earth.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
it's
you're
just
not.
ludicrous what's going on right now. I mean,
It's
and
delusional fans,
well, I mean, it
delusional
is what
players.
it is. And on the other side of the coin, I've heard it from a lot of people already throughout the whole season. Well, you're not a true Tennessee fan because you're not, you're not rooting for Milton, and you're not sticking. I'm calling it as I see it. I've been with Tennessee for
Rooting for Milton.
yeah. I
Really?
I've been with Tennessee for a long time through the lows and the highs. I'm calling it like I see it. I called it when Garantano was there. Garantano was a garbage quarterback, and I called him out for it. And same way as I am here with Milton. Yeah, just because Milton can throw 90-yard pass does not mean he can perform in a game. I'm sorry. He's not proved himself. He has never proved himself.
You
He
have to
had
have
one good
faith in your
game, and
quarterback.
that's it.
You have to have faith in your quarterback. 3 weeks later, he's still not proved anything to us. What has he proved?
Nothing.
I should put faith in him for what? Almost losing every game we've played?
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's dumb. That's just delusional. What about Alabama? You think Alabama fans are happy with their quarterback situation right now? I bet they're saying the same thing.
Probably not.
These guys suck.
Probably they're not happy
Probably
with Saban
not.
right now either.
No, you're not a
Mhm.
real Alabama fan. Shut up. You don't know nothing. It's always hate us. We're the most hated team in the SEC.
Oh, I know that's crazy too.
For
D-
what reason? I don't know.
I mean, we haven't been good in so long. I don't know why anybody
In
hates us
20
that
something
much.
years.
I mean, it's just crazy.
I mean, we ain't won since 98, buddy. Like, chill out.
Yeah. I
We
mean,
showed hope last year, but we didn't get there, so.
and that's what kills me is just I know there's talent on the team that's not being utilized because of the options that we got at the quarterback right now. That's why we're not utilizing the talent we got. Squirrel performed amazingly last year.
Mm.
Squirrel's not done a whole lot this year. Why? Because he's not being utilized like he's supposed to be. I mean, it's obvious we have an issue at that QB spot. And if we're not going to call it, if no one's going to call it out, someone's got to call it out, and say, hey, you need to fix this. I think I seen, and it made me laugh a little bit. I seen someone posted on Facebook. They had a billboard somewhere outside of Knoxville said it's Nico time. And I agree.
That is my motto going forward for the rest of the season. It's Nico or nothing. Literally, Nico or nothing.
I mean,
But
there's
they won't.
got to be something better. You can't tell me that Nico is not on par with what we saw at the Florida game. You're telling me that that's not on, that he can't be on par with at least that?
I mean, how worse can it get? To be
Yeah,
honest, at this
I
point,
mean,
what Nico's inexperience loses us a game? Who cares, dude? Joe
We-
Milton's experienced and he can't even throw the ball right. So I mean, what's worse, an inexperienced quarterback who don't know anything about the game pretty much, or Joe Milton who knows about the game and he can't even throw the ball correctly? He can't even throw it straight.
can't perform. There's another YouTubers that did a SEC skit, and I'll show y'all after we get done with this podcast. But I mean, they called it exactly how I've been saying. I mean, time management. I mean, you have a game clock. You know, you have when you're supposed to snap the ball, and you call a timeout at 11 seconds. That's plenty of time to do something. Call your audible, get a call, something. There's still 11 seconds, and you burn a timeout for that. What? And then there's times he just doesn't do nothing. He just sits there and lets the time run out, and we get a delay of game. And it's like
Poor
he doesn't even
performance
know
by
the.
us. Poor performance in the SEC in general.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
The SEC's fell off.
our last episode. I mean, Georgia had struggles. Alabama definitely had struggles. I mean, the only one that performed to above their expectations was Mizzou.
And LSU played fine.
Oh, LSU, yeah, not mention LSU. I mean, but yeah, I mean, SEC's kind of gotten shaky this season, and it's weird.
Next year, there's two more people coming in: Texas, Oklahoma, and
And
that's
Texas is
gonna
looking
be a
strong.
problem.
Texas is looking like they're going to be an issue for us.
Yeah.
Not just
They
Tennessee,
are, I mean-
but as the rest of the SEC.
Yeah. Right now, they don't look like too much of a challenge, or they look like a mighty challenge. We don't look like much of a challenge.
No, they steamroll us. So, I mean, I don't know. There's going to be some issues that we're going to have to settle. I hope. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I do. I know what's going to happen. They're going to continue to play Milton throughout the rest of the year. All this year, scrap
Of course
year.
they will.
And, I mean, we may not even see a bowl game because, I mean, we're going to lose a lot of games with Milton as a quarterback. I mean,
Unless
prove
he
me wrong.
somehow,
Prove me wrong, Milton. You're not going to, but prove me wrong.
please.
You haven't yet. I said at the beginning of the game last week, or this past week game, I said, I'm okay if you prove me wrong, but you just have not. You have not proved me wrong. You've proved me right every single time. It drives me nuts, but
I don't know. Disappointing. That's all I can say.
yeah.
Really sad.
It is sad.
We're not where we're supposed to be. That's
No,
it.
Not even close.
I mean, it's just mind-boggling how the season's been going. I mean, I when we pick next week's, and I can't believe we're still talking about Tennessee in the top 25. We should have dropped out of the top 25 with that performance because I really don't see us winning that many more games this season the way we've been playing. I mean, Kentucky, they'll beat us. Alabama, they'll beat us. Georgia, they'll beat us. South Carolina, they'll beat us. Who else we got? Bandy. Maybe a close game. Who knows?
Yeah, we might have a chance against Vanderbilt.
I mean, I'm seeing 4 or 5 losses this season still ahead of us. I mean, bowl game may not be in our cards. If we play the way we've been playing. If we have somebody that can't perform in that QB spot.
I just don't know why they don't play Nico, man. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, mind-boggling. Confuses me. And I know it's the blinders of it has to be the blinders of practice. And we've seen it the same way with the Milton and Hooker. Milton won the QB spot because he was better in practice. But Hooker showed him. He basically took him to school. You know,
Mhm.
when it came to game day. I mean, oh well. I mean, all we can do is look forward to the next game, and I mean, I'll continue to root for my Tennessee team. I
I will
mean,
too, but just man,
Yeah.
do something.
I'm a
please.
realist, you know. I see what we got, and I see the issues we have, and for some reason, we're not fixing them. We're not fixing those issues. We're just getting worse. So, oh well. I think that's done on my rant side of it. Cody, you got anything?
Oh, I'm finished.
I mean, yeah, that's yeah. You spoke for the people.
Gotta get it out of there. And told you to be lower or less than an hour, but and it has been, but it's just aggravating. But I guess this is going to be it for this rant of it's football time in the Tennessee and Florida game. If you disagree with us, hey, by all means, show me where we
You're
were
blind,
wrong.
but all right.
So,
Yeah.
if you're a Tennessee hater, why are you listening to this rant then? I mean, that's all I got to say. I mean,
So love it.
uh,
Just love it.
if you're a Florida fan, a good win for y'all, I guess.
You play great, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's some stuff that just couldn't slide, man. I
Yep.
don't know.
And for the rest of the SEC teams, you need to figure out your stuff
Do
also.
better.
Yep.
No.
Alabama talking to you. Georgia talking to you.
And we will catch you on tomorrow's episode where we pick our next week's games, the upcoming games for week number, what are we on? 4?
4.
4, week 4.
4.
Yep, week 4.
So we'll pick our week 4 games tomorrow and see how far we're going to be wrong on these also.
Yeah.
But until then, I'm Dustin.
I'm Jaden.
And I'm Cody.
And we will catch you on the next episode.